Good evening, you lovely lot, and welcome to the Toon Review for tonight's Burnley 1, Newcastle United 4 match review with me, Paul. We've got obviously Alex, Mr. Stato, and of course Billy Bob. Sam is busy packing. She's off to, I believe it's Canada. Is it tomorrow she goes, guys, or is it? I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
And of course, Alex is on his jollies as well from Tuesday. So me and Billy will be bringing you most of the shows this week. However, it is a celebratory show tonight, obviously, because yesterday we absolutely drubbed Burnley, which was fantastic. And second of all, we strolled past 29,000 subscribers during Matchday Live, which was outrageous. And we've got 120 more subscribers since we actually passed 29. So we are now well on the way to 30,000. And I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everybody out there, because it's you guys that make this channel. You guys keep coming back, giving us the views, giving us the likes, etc., that puts us in the search results for other people to come and watch and then hopefully subscribe in the future. We've got big plans coming up for the channel. We're going to do obviously some great stuff on Northeast football in the summer. We're going to do hopefully we're going to extend into a second channel which will be dedicated to football in general. So we'll be doing more watch-alongs, match day lives as we call them on here. So we'll be doing that. So we've got a lot of things planned. We just always talking in the background about new shows and what we can do to bring more quality to you guys. But like I said, it's you guys that make this channel. You keep coming back. It is a big family in this chat. It really is every time. You'll obviously get the dickheads from time to time coming in, but they won't spoil it. We've got a really good subscriber base here, and everybody that views, thank you so much. We will obviously, if and when we do hit 30,000, we'll have a big 30,000 party show. There's no doubt about that, because I started this channel way back a few years ago in my kitchen with an iPhone. Just never thought that I'd be sitting here in the studio with monitors all around me and fantastic co-hosts and building up a remarkable channel and a remarkable friendship with these guys and the mods, etc. And you guys, the viewers as well. We see the same names coming in and new names coming in, and it's really incredible. So thank you so much to every single one of you. We really mean that, and it's just incredible. It really is. Thank you. Up the A1, celebrating being a member for 2 years. Thank you, guys. Lovely family. Fantastic seeing you past 29,000. You deserve it. Thank you very much. But if you do enjoy tonight's show, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Still very important that we keep those likes coming in so that we can go in those search results on YouTube and fellow fans like yourselves can find the channel. And, of course, if you are new and you like what you see, please do subscribe. Come and be part of an incredible community here on the Toon Review. And, of course, hit that bell, which will notify you every time we schedule a live show or we upload any videos. And, of course, you can become a member by hitting the join button just underneath the three of us. And as usual, you can donate to the channel if you do so wish by that $sign at the bottom of the live comments, and that will guarantee your comment to be read out. Seattle Geordie has joined the membership. Thank you very much, Seattle Geordie. Thank you for your support. Andy82 says the TTR is easy to love and enjoy. Thank you. Andy says would be great if you could pass 30k by the end of the season. I've shared with loads of my mates. Well, thank you very much. That is very kind. Jimmy Barr has gifted a membership as well. Thank you very much, Jimmy. I know Jimmy does a lot with the gifting of memberships, etc. So thank you very much to Jimmy for that. Let me just right, there you go. I've just gifted 5 memberships as well, guys, so there you go. Why the hell not? Right, let's look at the review, guys. And obviously a very happy day for Newcastle United. It didn't exactly start like that. We'll just remind people of the team. That was the team, and it was very interesting, Alex, before kickoff, wasn't it? Because we were wondering what formation it would be. We did suggest probably 4-4-2, and that's exactly how it panned out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's very possible that it could have been Gordon out on the right and Isak being a left winger, but it wasn't. He tried it as a proper strike partnership, and they were on the same page for most of it. There was good distances, good kind of link up play between both. It's almost as if we've played this 50 times before. I think the fact that Burnley helped. Of course, we did have to settle into the game. It took 15, 20 minutes. But, we can't really use this because we've had situations before where we've had to change shape and we've moaned that obviously it's not going to click straight away, but this one did. So I guess maybe they've done really good stuff in training. The plan was executed well by the players. Again, aided by the fact it was a team in 19th in the league. So, but everybody played their part very well. I mean, we'll have a look at some like what it actually ended up looking like on the ball because it was very different. It was almost like it was very nearly a 4-2-4 with Livramento kind of wandering around. So it just goes to show once you get a bit of control of the game, you can really start dictating what happens with that shape. But yeah, it's as we kind of said. Does Wilson come in? Possibly, and he did. And then it was nice to see the two fullbacks getting the starts and no sort of dumb it or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, me and Billy were trying to work out the formation in the last 10 minutes, and we just couldn't because everybody was just piling forward, wanting goals, and it was just incredible. Connor, Mattia, thank you very much for your super chat. If the Gunners want Bruno, it's going to cost 70 million, and Jorginho, 2 years of him and ship him to Saudi. I don't think that. 70 million's too cheap if you ask me. Anyway, it is man of the match poll, of course. So what we'll do is me, Alex, Billy will pick our names and then we'll do a joint one. It's a little bit more difficult today, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going to go first with mine though, and mine is Jacob Murphy. I thought Jacob was outstanding yesterday, absolutely outstanding. Given that we've criticised him for his last couple of games, he hasn't quite been at it, but my God, he put some wonderful crosses in yesterday. 2 assists as well. Brilliant. Alex?
Might surprise a few people, and by you picking Murphy and me picking this guy, one of the big hitters might drop out, but Lewis always got to be in the shot for me. Absolutely has to be. But me and Billy talked about him extensively in the Patreon. Yeah. He was influential. He deserves to be in that conversation for sure.
Yeah. Jamie Mack, welcome to Toon Review membership as well. Thank you very much for your support and signing up. Welcome to the family, my friend. Billy Bob.
Yeah, it's 1 out of 2 for me. I want to go with the one that we never pick. Yeah, I'm going to pick Sean Longstaff.
Sean Longstaff. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can see why. And by the way, we will come on to some of the stuff that was said about Sean Longstaff after the game yesterday, which was quite frankly shocking. Right, now it has to be a joint one. Can I throw a name in, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I'd like to throw Dan Burn in there.
Yeah, it's a fair shout. Or Bruno.
It's tricky because we've left out 3 of the goal scorers if we do that. And Gordon, who won a penalty and got assists. It's a real tricky one this week.
Yeah, no, I'm just throwing his name in. I'm not saying it has to be that. Obviously, we have to come up with an agreement between the 3 of us here for the last one.
I think everybody, bar Kraft and Dúbravka, is in with a shout of man of the match, hands down. Not that Kraft did anything wrong. I just don't think he did enough to be in that conversation.
Kraft,
but I think the rest of them,
he's like Mr. Penn. They can't really put him in. He missed the pen.
Yeah, I guess Isak because he missed the pen, so that takes it down to 8 you can pick from.
And we put we literally put Bruno in every time. I just think with a performance like that, maybe we can just put somebody else in with a shout of man of the match.
Maybe Callum, because the fact
Wilson,
that
Wilson
he was
did
written
all right
off a little bit, and he's come back with decent fresh legs and scored and been very impactful. To be fair to him,
Livramento, another one had a good game.
Livramento, I mean, not Matt Ritchie, no.
Definitely not Matt.
We need a poll for the poll. Like
we need a poll for the poll. Yeah.
Shall we just go with the captain because he did have an outstanding game?
Should we go with Dan Burn? Just to be different. Yeah. All right. Okay. Right, so there you go, guys. The poll is now available. Who was your man of the match yesterday? Was it Murphy, Hall, Longstaff, or Byrne? Those are the 4 options you've got for tonight's man of the match. And, of course, we will revisit that at the end of the show. It's really hard to put 4 options up when literally everybody played bloody so well yesterday. Even the guys that didn't stand out, Alex mentioned Emil Kraft. I thought Emil Kraft just did his job steady away, and that's why he didn't shine maybe as big as others, because he just did his job.
He gets the unsung hero vote for the game. He's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Baz Down Under says, I watched Alice yesterday, and she was waxing lyrical about Gordon and Newcastle. I reckon she watches the watch along. Well, she's been on the channel, of course, as Alice, and she's one of those Man United fans that we don't mind at all. In fact, we love Alice because she's very complimentary about Newcastle, talks very maturely about different football teams, not just Newcastle, but when she watches Newcastle, she definitely sees the positives in Newcastle United rather than talk about any of the negatives. So yeah, I really enjoy listening to what Alice has got to say. Ken says, evening guys, great result yesterday. We could really do with Chelsea losing, and didn't think I'd be saying that a while ago. Chelsea are probably, Billy, the team to watch. I mean, we're just talking there before we went live, and they've suddenly found a little bit of form, haven't they? And it's sort of looking over your shoulder, but nothing changes, Billy. We win the last 3 games, we finish 6th.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, it's all in our hands. As long as we do our job, there's nothing Chelsea, Manchester United, anyone can do. Chelsea have still got to play Brighton away. I think that's going to be tough for them. We have them at home. Brighton don't really travel that well, so I think we'll gain 3 points on them there. But apart from that, I mean, the Old Trafford game still is a crucial one, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nigel says, holla from Spain. My wife and I watch this every day for a bit of Blighty. Sadly, her dad passed away, so she had to go home to Germany. I had to record the Grab a Granny celebrations for her to cheer her up. Well, unfortunately, Susan hasn't felt too well today, so we haven't got the highlights of the watch along that we normally do. But, it was great, and it's available to go and watch. And I'm sure if we do get the highlights, we'll put it up as a separate thing on YouTube as well for you to go and watch. Carl says, I'd like to big Dan Burn up for his performances back at centre back. A massive improvement. He just looks so comfortable there, Billy, doesn't he?
He's inspirational as well. He's been given the captain's armband, and he's grown for it, if that's possible for someone his size, to actually achieve being a fantastic captain as well as a really competent centre half. He does sometimes get lacks of concentration where he chases the ball, but hopefully we can keep that to a minimum. And if we do that, I think we'll look more strong in defence. I think we'll look even better in defence with a more competent goalkeeper behind him. Yeah.
Tom says it took just a few minutes to get into it. Once we got into our groove, we were like rolling thunder. Yes, I mean, it did take a few minutes, Alex. I mean, Burnley, we expected that from Burnley. They're fighting for their lives. They're going to come out with a bit of blood and guts. And they did rock us a little bit early doors, but we kept we managed to keep them out. And once we started getting used to the formation and playing the flow and football we did, there was only going to be one winner in that match.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one because we've struggled with this in the last couple of months where teams will absolutely come flying out of the traps and we can't handle it for 20 minutes because, it used to be us who would do that, and we would sustain it. But now teams are doing it to us. But it's kind of we've proved several times that it's not sustainable. Sheffield United tried it. Burnley have tried it. You can't sustain that kind of tempo at all for long periods of time. Burnley managed it for 15-ish minutes, maybe 20. You just can't do it. So we just have to try and be careful, make sure we retain our shape and everybody's concentrating and focused. You pick up all the men you're meant to pick up, and you trigger press when you're meant to press, and we did that. We managed to avoid a couple of mishaps early doors. I'm sure. Well, I don't know if you've got anything prepped on Dúbravka specifically, but I will mention we could have gone behind in the first 2 minutes twice.
I always save that for you, Alex. I feel like that is your segment of the your personal segment in the match review.
Let's get it out of the way. I'll keep it short and sweet because me and Billy have spoken about this on the Patreon. So for anybody who hasn't listened to it yet, we did go into detail about this. So within 2 minutes, he made 2 very strange decisions not to come out and claim a cross and not to come out and claim a lofted through ball as well. He let it bounce inside his area, and that we could have gotten off to a terrible start based on 2 very bizarre situations. And in that second situation where the ball bounced in his box, he actually came out to claim and then he retreated again. It was just baffling. It's baffling. Somebody needs.
Yeah.
I think somebody's drawn a fake box inside his box in invisible ink that only he can see. Somebody needs to tell him he's allowed to come slightly further out. It's strange. It's like somebody's got an invisible ghost next to them that they spring out just when he starts to sweep and they scare him away. It's absolutely bizarre. But that's by the by. Again, we weathered the storm. I don't even know what your original question was now. I'm irritated with Martin Dúbravka, and I
haven't a clue about what the original question was.
Don't want him in goal anymore. He's a liability, and if we don't get Europe, I'm scared it's going to be his fault because he's going to mess something up.
Yeah,
we were talking about the first 10 minutes of the game, weren't we? Where basically Burnley had 3 men in the engine room against R2, and Eddie Howe made a slight tactical tweak and pushed whichever side it was on, the other fullback would tuck in, make it 3 against 3, and then once that happened, Burnley winning the game. Simple as that.
Absolutely. Super chat from Kieran. Thank you, Kieran. What about do every grab your granny for every goal this season, if possible? That would take some doing. That would take a lot of backstage work. Chippers, I think you need to go and watch the goal again. It wasn't Dan Burn that got beaten in the air. Dan Burn was on the line with Dúbravka, and it looped over both of them into the net. So I think you need to go and watch that goal again, my friend.
They did kind of get in each other's way, didn't they?
Yeah, but he wasn't beaten in the air originally for the header, though. Nicky Milliken, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Evening all, great game yesterday. Anthony says, Isak goal and great link-up play. Also, Wilson with some very good forward play, muscling the defenders. That was what was good to see about Wilson being back yesterday, Alex. He was back to his normal self of, are we keeping you awake, my man?
No, not at all. Just been very busy.
He's jet lagged already. He ain't even gone yet.
Yeah, he hasn't even gone yet. Yeah, it was good to see Wilson roughing them up again, wasn't it? He was back to somewhat the Callum Wilson we know. But the problem is, we get to love this Callum Wilson coming back, and then he breaks down again.
Well, look, everybody's kind of pushed this narrative. I think people need to take a step back and remember what the recent injury was. It was a pec tear because he had a wrestling match with Niakate from Forest. It's not like his body let him down. He didn't fail a sprint and ping a hamstring or a calf or a quad. It was a genuine tussle on the pitch that got him injured. It was an upper body injury, and this has allowed him to come back and hit the ground running with a bit more pace, a little bit more energy in the press. And he's looked really good from the get-go because, it wasn't an issue with his legs. So I feel like a little bit of kind of dispensation for that needs to be factored in. It's a bit different. And I'm thinking about this more and more and more now with Wilson, obviously with the summer and the transfer window. What we're going to get for him, absolute top dollar. We get 20 million for Callum Wilson. Can we replace that? Can we replace his output for that money? Absolutely no way near. Not even remotely close. You can't get somebody as clinical as Callum Wilson for 20 million. You'd have to get, that's like a Mo Salah pickup. You'd have to get a pick of the century to get somebody as clinical as Callum Wilson.
Yeah, you are going to have to pay a bit of extra dollar, definitely.
I appreciate that he's not going to be available all the time. He's going to get potentially more injury issues, but to have Wilson available for half the season for his output, I think if we should keep him and then just bring in a young, versatile forward. We do need some reinforcements up front, but I don't see the point in getting rid of him because I don't think we would get enough money to justify him leaving because we're losing so many goals and so he's so important to the way we play as well.
Okay. James Taylor says, can you give Jimmy and Lissy a shout going camping tomorrow? Good luck. But there you go. Matt says, is that a Sooth Shields shirt, Paul? It is indeed. The Mariners. I keep an eye on them in the northern Vanarama North. Let's have a look. Wagner says, what is wrong with Bruno deserving to be in the conversation for man of the match every game? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, Wagner. But when we see a performance like that, let's give somebody else a chance to win viewers man of the match. Because look, we know what Bruno is. We know what he does. He's just a fantastic footballer, and hopefully he's going to be here for a long time to come and pick up viewers man of the matches every sudden week. But yesterday there was a lot of good performances, and just feel like maybe we can look at somebody else. It's no disrespect to Bruno. We know what Bruno is. He's the best player on the park.
Can I add one more thing to that Wilson conversation as well? Because obviously people have started commenting about it, and we pay him apparently £46,000 a week. So just remember that if we're going to bring in somebody as clinical as that, we're going to have to pay them 200, maybe more.
Yeah.
Like people mentioning Šeško. Yeah, 43 mil release clause, but again, he's got everybody under the sun wanting to sign him. So we'd have to quadruple the salary that we're giving to Wilson at the moment to get somebody who we hope is going to also be able to do that kind of output and stay fit.
Yeah.
So
if we get 20 million for him, can we not kind of then amortise it for 3 seasons and spend 60 million on someone? Or 50 million and 10 million wages?
But it wouldn't be a like for like, would it? It's going to be, what we do with the youth academy. Again, we spend money on players like Qual and Minter that don't necessarily get into the first team. So money goes everywhere, doesn't it? And we might bring in another goalkeeper and different areas, centre halves. So that it might not all go into a replacement specifically.
Well, the thing is as well, guys, Eddie Howe said last night that he wants to keep Wilson next season. He did state that in an interview. He said he wanted to keep him. So,
well, it depends if we have another summer with strange pickups. Like we picked up Lewis Hall and Tino because they were available, and it was an opportunity we couldn't let pass. What if we have that again this summer? What if we pick up another player that we don't necessarily need in the position right now, but we pick him up because it's an opportunistic signing?
Well, time will tell on that one, won't it? Guys, a lot of people are asking in the chat, do we think Isak and Bruno will be sold in the summer? I don't think there's any of us think that they will be sold. I think they'll both be here next season, and we've stipulated that quite a few times, but nobody knows. Nobody knows for definite what's going to happen. So, but if any news breaks, we'll bring it to you here. We're not in the know. We're not in the know. We just wait till official announcements come from the football club, and then we talk about them then. We're not into all this, Bruno barbecuing and all that kind of crap, or Isak going for an ice cream with someone down in London and all of this garbage. We just go off what the football club tells us, and that's the best way to be, because you just look silly. Sean Stevenson, a member for 16 months. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for an amazing show. Well done to all involved, past and present. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Toon Gamer says, can we get Alisson for the Man United preview? That would be interesting. See what we can do with that. Who's this young kid from Arsenal we are about to sign? Arsenal fans aren't very happy. Yeah, I've seen that yesterday. Apparently, he's been dubbed the next Saka. But I'm not for saying that anybody's the next this. They're just as good as they are, individually. But he does look a player. I've seen that Arsenal fans aren't very happy. Well, the Arsenal fans are kicking off about it, saying that it'll be a disgrace if they sell him. So that says
we got linked with him a couple of months ago as well.
Yeah. But that says to me that if the Arsenal fans are whinging about, I mean, I know the Arsenal fans whinge a lot, but it could be something very special. But obviously that won't be for next season either, guys. That'll be for the future as well.
Is Cozier Dewberry? Is that the guy?
I think so. Yeah, it does ring a bell.
It's related to Michael Dewberry. Maybe he's his son. Who knows?
Yeah. He was good at scoring own goals, Michael Dewberry, wasn't he? David Knight, thank you for your super chat. Sorry, not football related, but R.I.P. Bernard Hill.
Yeah. Joseph Hughes. Joseph Hughes. Gives a job. I can do that. Joseph Hughes. He'd been in all the Harry Potter
films. He was in the Lord of the Rings as well.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Well, I haven't seen Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, so...
He was in Boys from the Black stuff, Joseph Hughes.
Okay. Well, yeah, indeed, R.I.P. Never nice, somebody passing away, obviously. Keith says, how about Tino driving through the middle of the pitch as a right back to lead towards that first goal? It was outstanding. It was just but we've seen that multiple times from Tino, Billy, haven't we? Just when he gets the ball and he drives.
Yeah, because he's got the pace, he's got tactical awareness, he's got a little bit of skill as well. And it was kind of that bit, well, we mentioned earlier, where the fullbacks stepped to midfield to kind of level up with what they had in there. And at that minute, no one could keep up with Tino. He's fantastic driving run and get past the ball off nicely as well. So, yeah, he's a hell of a player. Player.
And Toon Army says, thanks, Paul, Billy, Alex, and Lady Sam, and all the TTR team for a great show yesterday. Congratulations on getting to 29,000 subs. Loved the game and the result. How are the lads? Thank you very much, Anne. James says, we need a new keeper to rival Pope, a fast centre-back and a tricky right winger. look, we need somebody to challenge Nick Pope. There's no doubt about it. I don't think Dúbravka is going to be here next year. I think he's making waves behind the scenes that he wants out. There's a couple of reports came out last week that he wasn't happy or not happy with the plans for the future. So, Sodom as far as I'm concerned.
A lot of big waves with all the flapping he does.
Well, absolutely. Bald Geordie says, congratulations again, TTR. I don't think many teams would have withstood our forward play yesterday. We've struggled with injuries so much, and Howe has been brave with formation. We looked amazing. But that's the thing, Alex. I mean, people have... even Newcastle fans, some of them have come forward and said, let's not get carried away. It was only Burnley. And I hate that. I really do hate that when people say it's only Burnley, because it's massively disrespectful to Burnley as a football club, for one. And two, Burnley had only lost 1 in 8 going into that game yesterday, and they'd given themselves a real chance of survival. So to go to Turf Moor and do what we did yesterday, I think was pretty damn special.
I don't know if it was special. It was good. It was very, very good. But yeah, you're absolutely right. When you factor in recent results, because people are saying it's only Burnley, let's not get carried away. Let's not behave like Man United fans. Their recent run of form, they managed a 2-2 draw away at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge with a red card. A 1-1 against Wolves. They actually got the draw against Man United, of course.
Yep.
They've been okay. Like they've picked up some decent results against some of the better sides in the league. They're unbeaten in quite a number of matches as well. They'd only lost recently. The Everton game was the only one in recent memory, going all the way back to the start of March. So that's a decent stretch. They've managed to try and pick up some points. They've been hard to beat.
Alex, and in the way we actually went about the game once we got the formation right. Some of the football we played, we haven't seen that for a long time, and the intensity to win the ball back as well was there. We lost the ball. There was 2 or 3 then going straight in to try and win the ball back. I thought it was really good, because
I think it's indicative of but it's indicative of the fixture. The fixtures kind of not being as congested and crazy. Everybody kind of said, what was it? If it was last month, we'd had a 2-week break and then we didn't turn up and stuff like that. It does take time for everybody to kind of, that's why people have an off season. It is a thing. You tend to go in waves, and we did need a bit of time to recuperate and to get returning players. But it's not just about intensity. It's a bit of both. It's utilizing the skill set of everyone. And Eddie Howe's definitely done that. I don't want to talk about squeezing lemons again, but he definitely got the best out of everybody yesterday, in terms of like Lewis Hall's technical ability, switching, reading of the game, Tino's ability to move inside and drive the ball forward, creating space, Wilson occupying centre halves, Isak being a bit more flexible, benching Barnes again proved to be the right call. Everything worked really well. He'd got that really carefully thought out. Everybody had a role to play. And it kind of goes to show that he tries to do this in every game. It's just a combination of maybe he gets the wrong call tactically and maybe the players don't execute it perfectly either, or the opposition are really good. But I think it was just a case where everything came together. Burnley down tools. They were horrific. Everybody kind of did really, really well and did what they were meant to do. Yeah. And Howe got the tactics spot on. So it was a combination of all of those things. But we do deserve praise. It's not just Burnley. Burnley have got draws against Chelsea and Man United recently and have got unbeaten. Well, they had one loss in recent form. So, no, it was definitely a positive victory.
Wagner, thank you for your super chat. He says, I want to dream. Are you guys absolutely sure that Tottenham can't bottle it and lose points to a relegated side? I'm not. Well, look, I mean, Wagner, Tottenham aren't playing very well at the minute, and you never know. You just never know, do you? But as I say, all we can do is win our last 3 games, and then we see where we finish. We know if we win our last 3 games,
being anyone, can you?
Well, no. But the thing is, I mean, but the last day of the season always swings up something, doesn't it? You just never know.
No, I get that, but the way Sheffield United are playing, I think you could put South Shields in front of them and they'd struggle. I just think they've just got nothing. They've just got nothing to give anymore. They give it for 20 minutes, half an hour, and Diaz does a bit, and then they've shipped 100 goals, and the season's not over yet.
Yeah,
I think what we were talking about just now about how we kind of got to Burnley, the intensity was hyper intense, but I think we needed to do that because we needed to encourage their naivety at the back, and we did that in spades, didn't we? The times they gave the ball away in their own defensive third was ridiculous, really. And they did definitely down tools, no doubt about it. But before they did down tools, they were so kind of not streetwise. And after nearly a season of Premier League football, you think they may have learned a little bit. Didn't seem
they kind of went a bit wayward, didn't they? Gary Hannant, member for 2 years and a month. Thank you very much, Gary. Good evening, people. I'm wondering about Federico Chiesa from Juventus, who was mentioned on a few occasions. Yes, but he has a massive injury problem, massive injury list.
2 pages.
2 pages, yes. Let's not forget that. Dan Robinson, thank you for your super chat. Only Burnley. It was only Luton drawing at St James's Park, but it was a dominating performance. There was a 30-minute relentless attack, best of the season. And Samsonite Dove says, thank you for your super chat. We also have a bench. That means those on the pitch know that if they run flat, there's a sub that can come on in their place. And that kind of made a big difference, I think, to the way we played yesterday, knowing that we could make changes. Simon Yorkshire, thank you for your super chat. Great commentary yesterday. Hall and Gordon, so key. Without a shadow of a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that Hall and Gordon, but listen, there's some players in there that could be England's future. Let's be honest. Livramento, Hall, Gordon, there's some very, very talented players. So let's move on to the player ratings, shall we? And we will start off with you, Alex, with Martin Dúbravka.
Oh, it's a horrible one to mark. I'll give him a 6. I think his shot stopping deserves a 7 or more. His shot stopping was really tidy, but for his nonsense in the first 2 minutes, we could have been 1-0 down at least with his 2 strange moments. And then there was a situation in the second half where I think it was Kraft, Burn, and Lewis Hall.
Yep.
3 of them turned around and went, Martin, pick the sodding ball up, Martin.
We did highlight that, didn't we, Billy, during the commentary?
It took him so long. Yeah. I don't know if anybody remember. I can't remember exactly what minute it was, but it was, I couldn't believe it. Three defenders literally, because it was like synchronized swimming. They all turned around in unison and went, pick the ball up. Yeah. You could, so there's no denying that this is a problem anymore, because I watched 3 players look at him and basically go pick the ball up. 6, but I feel like he gets a 6 because of the shot stops, which was solid, but I'm scared to play anybody decent. We're just going to concede 1 or 2 goals. Let's not forget we went through that whole period where we just conceded every single game constantly. We couldn't keep a clean sheet. A lot of it was Martin Dúbravka, and I still think he's a liability going into games against teams like Brighton and Man United as well. You know, Højlund's not a bad player. I don't want him in goal. He terrifies me.
Luke says, pleased for the Tractor Boys getting promoted, but I'd imagine they're going to be the Whipping Boys next season. Back-to-back promotions. Won't have loads to spend. They'll need a miracle. Well, we get the Bobby Robson derby back next season, which is, of course, Ipswich, Newcastle, and they'll be looking down a very proud man about what Ipswich have done. But I don't think they're going to be the Whipping Boys, guys. I think their manager's got them playing some fantastic football. And you just... to say they're going to be the Whipping Boys, I think, Luke, is a bit harsh. Because
it doesn't matter, though, does it?
No.
It doesn't matter. At this point, the season in the Prem and straight back down gives them so much money that they can then put back into the club. So even if they go straight back down, it doesn't really matter. They get parachute payments. They can put money into infrastructure, academy. It's great for the club regardless.
Yeah. Jimmy Barr, thank you for your super chat. Congrats on 29K. Well deserved. Great Patreon as well. Reviewed by Billy and Stato. Worth getting onto it, guys. Love the NUC legend segments and can't wait to play at Manchester United. Billy, Martin Dúbravka.
Well, one of the saves he made was from a moment where their keeper kicked it straight down the middle. All he had to do was come out and get it. He came out 2 steps, ran back 2 steps, and then made himself big and then blocked the ball. But he should have just picked the ball up in the first place, and he wouldn't have had that to do.
Yeah.
The second half as well. Not only that, he wasn't screaming at his defenders. He was coming to claim the ball. And one of the moments where Kraft was around it, and he was going to clear it himself, and Dúbravka finally picked it up without even screaming, and nearly got kicked in the head from Kraft. It's time his days are over. It's time to drop him. We know Pope's now ready to play. Sat on the bench yesterday. Get him back in for next game. I'll give Martin Dúbravka 5.
Yeah, I'm going with a 5 as well. I mean, he made that save I think it was Brun Larson who got through, and he sort of hesitated, but then came out and managed to make the save. And people saying, "Oh, good save." But if you look at his movement before the build-up, it was terrible. And like Alex says, you've got to worry that a lot sharper strikers will be onto that in a flash, and it will cause a lot of problems. I just want Nick Pope back in now. Listen, Dúbravka, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for stepping in, and et cetera, et cetera. But we now need our number one back in goal because it installs so much. It installs confidence in the back four and also the fans, without a shadow of a doubt. Right, we'll move
about Dúbravka, by the way.
Go on then.
One thing I just want to point out: why is he not in the conversation for the captain's armband?
Well, because he's not vocal.
Not just
why he's been here for. Well, yeah, but this is obviously something that's behind closed doors is also a thing. He's been here the longest out of most of them. He's in his mid-30s. He knows the club inside out. He's been with us for years. He's when he was obviously a bit younger, he put in some cracking performances and was a lot more mobile. But the fact that he doesn't appear to be in that leadership group. And Burn is somebody who's only been here for a couple of years, gets the armband. And rightly so. I think Burn's a good captain. But it's strange that I don't like goalkeepers being captains anyway. I think it's a bit weird, but it happens. And it's strange that he's not in that shout. And I think it's, again, but yeah, Nars just mentioned, because he went to Man United as well.
That still burns with a lot of people, doesn't it? The sort of social media posts he was putting out as well. Look, like I say, thank you, but ta-ra. A lot of different, again, very difficult to judge. Some of the scores that are coming in the chat between 3 and 6, most of them. So people are clearly not impressed. Chris Lynch, thank you very much for your super chat. Bournemouth is the surprise team of the season. Great win. Could have been more. Murphy looking better. Indeed. Right, we'll move to Tino Livramento, Billy.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9. I thought he was very, very good, both defensively and having the intelligence to support the middle of the park out and get forward. Kind of at times he was getting to the byline as well, playing balls backwards. Outstanding fullback, outstanding player. Very versatile. Could be an outside bet for the European Championship squad, in my opinion. Well,
Southgate was there yesterday, so he put in a performance like that. I've gone for a 9 as well. I thought he was outstanding, especially that what I love to see is when he gets the ball and you don't know whether he's going to drive down the wing or he's going to cut inside like he did for our first goal yesterday and just blast through the middle of the park. He's just sensational to watch. His defending is brilliant as well. I just think this guy is our right full back for years and years to come. Alex?
I'll go with a 9. Yeah, I'll go with a 9. It's probably an 8 performance, but I think the move to get the first goal was all from him, so he gets the bonus point from me. I think it's worked on in the training ground. I think it's a specific thing. It meant Longstaff was free to then finish off the rest of the move with Murphy into Wilson. And he's fantastic. There were a couple of little issues in the second half where he lost the ball a couple of times. One of them led to a shot as well, which is a bit of an issue. But again, he's still young. He's not going to be perfect yet, but he looks very good for it. And it was, a 9 for yesterday.
Let's not forget that the last England international games, we had Joe Gomez playing right back. We had the Echlekon from Villa playing right back. A couple of injuries, and we look really short in that area.
Well, Julie's pointed out there, right back, though, there's so many ahead of him, like Kyle Walker, Trent, Trippier. Look,
Trent doesn't play right back for England, does he? He's a midfield player.
There is an extended squad list now. He can take 26.
He can.
Yeah, but so the thing is, what I'm going to say about Walker and Trippier is, this could be their last sort of hurrah in the Euros if Trippier is fit to go. The age is against them. So, I'm sure that the FA are looking at players coming through. Southgate, we don't know whether he's going to be England manager after the tournament. I bloody hope not. But
whoever before the tournament, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, we know your feelings, Alex. Don't you worry about that. Loud and clear. Toon Leroy says Burn has similarities with Big Jack Charlton. Local lad, huge man, born leader, and well respected by many. I just think he's so much better at centre back. There's no doubt about that. Right, we'll move to Lewis Hall. I'm going to give Lewis Hall a 9 as well. I think he was outstanding yesterday. Again, just some of his defending was absolutely brilliant, and it's just so nice to see two young fullbacks playing absolutely outstandingly well like that. And the thing is about Lewis Hall, we don't know what's gone on this season with regards to why he was on the bench so long. I don't think we're ever going to find that out. Lots of conspiracies. Was it to do with the transfer and certain games and certain league positions, etc.? But we know he's permanently done for next season. So I'm very excited to have those two fullbacks, for years to come. 9 for me. Billy?
Well, the problem we had with Lewis Hall, and it's a very small problem, he was getting knackered after 85 minutes.
Yeah.
Last yesterday, he was full of run at the end of the game. He had his ankle stamped on during the game also.
He did.
His left foot's a wand. His defending was fantastic. He was so kind of incremental and lots of attacking play as well. Really incremental with the interception and the pass out to Wilson for the second. He's a 10 out of 10 for me all day long.
10,
all day long.
Okay. Tucky, thank you for your super chat, matey. Evening, Paul, Billy, and Alex from Tucky. Great show. Thanks, mate. Alex.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Billy said. I'm going to go for a 10.
Oh, okay.
He's a 19-year-old who's been out the team for months and months and months due to learning and improving. And I think we all just need to sit down and be quiet and say, yes, sir, sorry, Eddie Howe, because Eddie Howe said he was away learning. And he looks like he's done a lot of learning. So fair enough. This is why we say they know a lot more than us as coaches and managers. Yeah. And this kind of is Exhibit A. He was absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10 for a 19-year-old. 4 tackles, 3 interceptions. Bearing in mind one of those interceptions, he read that, drove the ball forward, and then pinged a world-class switch to get another goal for us. 5 accurate long balls. He helped replace Fabian Schär's output as well. So it wasn't just having a fullback. It was also having an attacker, a distributor. He had a couple of shots on goal. I think they were both blocked, but they were really, really solid. 5 out of 6 ground duels. He won 1 out of 2 aerials as well. So he was fine physically. He lasted the game's stamina. It was from a coaching perspective, you can't ask for anything more from a player in that sort of position of that age. Absolute 10 out of 10. Incredible.
Dan Robinson, thank you for your super chat. Hall, Anderson and Gordon, our left looks terrifying. Yes. And of course, Eddie did that with Anthony Gordon last season when he signed in January. He didn't play him very much, remember? So he kind of, he likes players to sort of slowly blend in. By the way, those of you that are putting 0.5s in the chat, we don't do that here on the Toon Review. However, that may change next season, just for Alex's sake, because it makes his life a lot easier if he can give 0.5s. I'm sure it does. He won't be stuck for a while. Chip says,
then I'm going to ask for 0.25. So
no, well, that just not happening. Not happening at all. Eddie Howe knows exactly when to introduce a player. Even Bruno had to wait. Totally agree, Alex. I think Hall must have been to uni. He's learnt that much. Well, I mean, he's doing certainly well. Johnson Street says players have to go through Eddie Howe's University of Football. That's looking more and more likely. Right, let's move to the centre backs, and we'll start off with Emil Kraft. Billy,
just a solid performance from him. Our position, as we all know. I think he kind of the mismatch for the corner where they scored. I don't think he should be marking their centre half. He's only virtually 6 foot. Darvo O'Shea's 6'4", 6'5". Bit of a mismatch there, but that's not necessarily his fault. I'll give him an 8. I thought he was really solid. Just did what it says in the tin, really. Just defended really well. Yeah.
Luke says, Billy, genuinely not having a pop here. How are you feeling recently in relation to Eddie Howe? Are you still wanting him to only see the season out, or has your faith been restored?
It depends where we finish. It really does. If we finish 8th and out the European places, I think there'll be a conversation I had. But if we finish 6th, it'll be an outstanding season. It's really kind of narrow margins for me.
It is very much. Alex, Emil Kraft?
7. Above average. Solid, out of position. Not the most complicated game for him, because I think Murphy and Livramento had that side completely locks down. Vitinho and Brun Larsen had a shocking game. Most of their threat came from Assignon down that other side. But that's another reason Lewis Hall gets his 10, by the way, because Assignon was their best player. I mean, we managed to keep him relatively quiet. But yeah, Kraft had a lot of help, but did what he needed to do. Billy was right. Mismatch for the corner. Yeah, 7. Really solid. Well done.
Yeah, I've gone with a 7 as well. Echoing Billy's points, really. I think it was one of those, where he didn't have to be outstanding. He was just steady away and did his job very well. So very, and let's not forget, he's not a centre back. So to play that steady away, hats off to him. Martin says now Pope is back on the bench. Do you think he'll play at Manchester United? I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back in for Brighton. I really do. I think if he's not in, I would ask a question of Eddie if he doesn't put Nick Pope back in for the Brighton game. I think
I'm shocked to see him on the bench against Burnley, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
Eddie Howard only just mentioned he'd started doing proper training. So
yeah, but he'll have a week's training. And listen, we said this earlier in the season. It's very different for goalkeepers. Getting back up to match speed and things like that. Their sharpness does come in training with shot stopping and things like that. And Nick Pope's very experienced as well. Let's not forget that. And it would restore a lot of faith, I think, in a lot of people having Nick Pope back between the sticks for the last 3 games. I think it's needed. He's our number 1. And I don't subscribe to Eddie Howe saying, "Oh, he's got to fight for his place back." I think that's just for the media. I think behind the scenes, I would honestly think that he's talking about, bringing Nick Pope back with his coaches. I'm in no doubt myself. I'd be staggered if Pope's not between the sticks next week. I really will. But Eddie Howe, he's thrown us some spanners in the works many, many times when those team selections have come out. Right, Dan Burn. I'm giving Dan Burn a 10. I thought he was outstanding yesterday. Commanding in the air. A little disappointed that the goal looped over, somebody as tall as him. But the thing is, he can only jump as high as he can to try and get to the ball. And it was just that kind of loop that was just too far for him to get. But I thought he was just the way he played yesterday, just commanding again. And as a captain, he truly is a centre back because he just commands that position so well. And I thought his headed clearances were good yesterday. We've criticised his heading when he's been at left back, but suddenly when he goes to centre back, he's so much stronger with his headers, etc. And I have to hold my hands up and say, well done, Dan Burn, because he took a lot of criticism on this channel when he was at left back, but as a centre back, do you know what? I don't worry about him playing there at all. So a huge 10 for me. Alex?
I wouldn't go as far as a 10. I'm going to give him a 9. He was integral in the build-up in one of our goals by just pressing and just being an absolute nuisance. He was just sort of ran at somebody almost to scare them and took the ball off them. And then that was Gordon. I think that was the Gordon cutback for Bruno's goal. So Burn instigated all of that. Really solid defensively. And it's what we've said. Well, I can't remember who kind of went in this direction, but I definitely echoed those comments of Dan Burn should stay with the club because he's going to be a good, useful option against certain teams. He's probably not as good at being a first-team pick. That's going to be Botman, but Burn is absolutely fine to come in and play 15, 20 appearances over the course of a 60-game season when you're in Europe as well, because he suits certain opposition and he's a solid centre-half. Like he's again, but maybe not left-back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Should do a running tally league on player scores and do an awards night next season. Well, somebody's doing that for us behind the scenes, actually, who's done it all season, apparently. He has kept a running total and averages out of the player rating. So they're going to send me that before we do our end of season review. So that should be great. It's amazing what some of our viewers will do for us. It's really nice. Billy, Dan Burn.
Yeah, inspirational performance. Defended really well. Bit concerned when he tried to press the goalkeeper. That was a bit concerning. And then took about 3 minutes to get back.
Yeah, he did sort of. I think the old Burnley air, maybe the smell of steak and kidney pies just got into his head a little bit there.
Yeah, but he was very inspirational. The press for the led to the second goal was brilliant. taking the ball deep in their half. Again, Burnley not being very streetwise. But then again, you're expecting the centre half to come and pressure. I'm not sure. It's not a very usual occurrence, is it? I'll give him a 9. Yeah, I thought it was very good. Very, very good.
Okay, we'll move into midfield now. We'll start off with Sean Longstaff. Alex.
Sean. Strange opener, but I think a few of the things he did weren't his fault in the first 15 minutes. A couple of times he went and pressed high, and the other midfielders, even Bruno, to be fair, didn't slot into the right place, and there was a big hole in midfield. But yeah, he was good. He looked a little bit more mobile, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit sharper. Took the goal well. I'd say it was probably an 8 performance from him, and I'll go a little bit more. I'll go the 9 because he's got the goal as well. So it'll be great for his confidence, and it will get a lot of people off of his back. And we need him to be confident for the last few games, don't we? So
yeah, Nigel Mahoney, can you just you've given him a 5, but can you explain why? Not having a go or anything. It's just obviously your opinion, but I'd like to know. Obviously, Alex has given a 9. You've given a 5. What is your reasons for giving them a 5? If you can let us know in the chat, matey. It's just nice to know why you're giving him that. There is a lot of 8s going on in the chat for Longstaff. I'm giving him an 8 as well. It was much better from Sean yesterday, and everybody knows I've been hypercritical of Sean's performances, but I think yesterday he took his goal brilliant. He could have had a second one, but he mishit it. But we'll sort of gloss over that one. But I thought his running into the box was good. Once they got going with that formation, they looked very, very comfortable. I thought Sean just looked back to somewhat of a better player than what we've seen most of the season. And hats off to him, because he has took a lot of criticism, not just from us, but from a lot of Newcastle United fans. And I'd just like to say, some of the stuff that was written on social media about Sean Longstaff last night, shame on you. Absolutely shame on you. It was shocking. I know we've given him criticism, but it's been constructive and angry at times because we haven't really seen the best of Sean. Could be for many different reasons. But when he has played well, we will always step up and say he's played well. If he hasn't played well, we'll say he hasn't. But the bottom line is, yesterday he played well. And some of the ratings I've seen for Sean Longstaff yesterday, shame on them. Shame on them. But, for me, he was an 8. And I'm really pleased, actually. I'm really pleased that we can finally give Sean Longstaff a decent rating and not have a go at his performance. So well done, Sean. Billy.
I actually felt he was the best player on the pitch in the first half. I thought he was outstanding first half. Got in really attacking positions, scored. That's his 7th goal of the season. That's remarkable for someone that's been so poor this season. So we have given -10s in this season's marks. Yesterday, certainly was nowhere near one of those games. I'm going to agree with Alex. I'm going to give him a 9. I thought it was outstanding. And he backheeled it as well.
Simon said, I didn't realise it was Longstaff's 7th goal this season. Yeah, he's chipped in. He has chipped in with
5
goals.
in the Prem, 1 in the Champions League and 1 in the Cup.
Yeah, interesting. Right, we'll move across to Bruno now. Billy.
I'm kind of reading the same script here, but some of the things he was doing towards the end of the game were mind-blowing. Really mind-blowing. Goal as well. Outstanding performance. Defensively solid as well. Was getting back and tackling. Some of the little flicks he was doing. Well, it's a 10 for me, Bruno. Really brilliant again. Outstanding.
Nigel's got back to us. He says, great goal, was a lot better than he has been, was pleased for him. I actually meant to hit 6, but felt bad about that, so I've revised to a 7. Brilliant. Class. Alex, Bruno?
I'm not going to go with a 10 because he lost the ball a few too many times for me in that game. A couple of out of character situations and moments, especially in the first half. But that doesn't detract from the fact he was fantastic for most of that game. So I'll go with a 9. But I'm going to dock him the point because there was a lot of losing the ball and getting tackled by people and a little bit of awareness. But again, he's absolutely world class. He walks into any midfield and he's just, 6 tackles, scored a goal. dictates the game. He's just unstoppable. We need to keep him.
Absolutely. Toon Gamer says strong bench and long staff performs. Coincidence? Well, look, that's not exactly a bad thing, is it? That he's now players are coming back. So it does that does tend to happen in a lot of football clubs, though. When players are coming back, you see the others in the team suddenly step up because they have to prove that they're worth putting in that 11. So it's not, for me, a bad thing at all that we got players coming back and pushing the other guys that are in the team. That's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day. Bruno, for me, I'm giving him a 9 as well. I thought he was excellent yesterday, but I don't think he was quite a 10. But look, he's getting 9s and 10s as usual in the chat. So, pretty much a given. Right, we'll look to the right-hand side now. Jacob Murphy. I'm giving Murphy a 10 all day long. No doubt about it in my mind. Some of those crosses he put in yesterday were absolutely fabulous. And it was what I was really happy to see was, and this is probably with Wilson coming back into the team, we were crossing the ball more. And I don't know if you guys noticed that. I think we did on commentary, Billy, that the crosses were coming in. And that was because Wilson can be dominant like that with the centre back. So Murphy knew that. And some of the ball just on the ground and in the air. Listen, I think he got 3 assists yesterday. I said 2 earlier on in the show. I think he got 3, actually.
No, the first goal didn't count as an assist for him.
All right,
for some reason.
Well, yeah, because obviously the pass was to Isak, wasn't it? And the keeper saved it. So I think that's harsh, though, to be fair. I mean...
Well, it was driven across. It was driven across the box, and I think maybe somebody else touched it first.
Well, Isak had the shot, didn't he? And it was saved by the goalkeeper, and Wilson tapped it in on the rebound. Can you remember, Alex?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Is that what happened? I can't remember. I didn't think that was what happened.
Yeah, first time cross.
Isak got the shot
to it. Near post saved. That's Wilson in the goal.
And Wilson popped in Johnny on the spot, as the cliche goes. So Murphy a 10 for me all day long. Alex?
I'm going to go with the 10 as well. He deserves it for a number of reasons. Key passes, 6. Bruno Fernandes gets 6 key passes. People don't stop talking about it for about 16 years.
Yeah.
So Jacob Murphy getting 6 key passes is insane. 2 assists as well on the board for him. He's getting goal contributions this season, lots of them. And just intelligence, just defensive intelligence, just awareness, understanding the game state. He's just, like when we got that first goal, when Tino vacated the right back position and drove into midfield, Murphy actually kind of slotted back in just in case that didn't work, then realised it had worked and sprinted the entire length of the pitch to be the overlap to then get the ball in for the goal. Like he's willing to just do whatever you tell him to do. He will die for 3 points himself. He deserves a 10 because he's amazing, massively underrated for this league for sure.
Peter Garthwaite, thank you for your super chat. Do you think Chelsea are the ones to worry about? We said we've got to look over our shoulder at Chelsea, but I will reiterate, it's in our hands. We win our last 3 games, we're finished 6th straight away. What are you laughing at, Billy?
Chordivick's comment.
Anyone got a... Oh, dear God. Yeah, dogs do that, Rick. Billy?
Yeah, it's an easy 10, isn't it? 2 assists, 1 massive hand in the first goal. The thing that I really enjoyed about his performance, not only because we've seen his crosses before, but his pace yesterday. He looked rapid, more rapid than usual.
Yeah.
He's never been slow, but he was outpacing their fullback every single time to the ball. And he had the endeavour and the energy to get into them forward positions and help support the front 2. Yeah, an outstanding performance. 10 out of 10 all day long.
Right, we'll move to the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon, Bill.
Another phenomenal performance. Got us a penalty. That's the 7th one he's got us this season. Pace, strength, energy, all of those things. Just couldn't get himself a goal, could he? He was close on a couple of occasions. I'll give him a 9.
Okay. Godfather, I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in again. Fubar Steve says Spurs dropping points left, right, and centre. Could we get 5th? Imagine finishing 1 place under last year. That would be astounding. And I would Well, I mean, let's just wait and see. But it would be obviously fantastic. I'm giving Gordon a 9 as well. I don't think he was quite a 10. I know there's a few. Well, there's 9s and 10s in the chat, obviously, but I think Gordon was his brilliant self again. He causes so many problems, as happened when we won the penalty, and he's electric. He really is electric. And I even saw this astounded me this morning. I was up at 7:30. I was sitting having a cup of coffee in the living room, and I looked on X, and there was an Everton fan with a tweet saying, "I've been very harsh on Anthony Gordon, but what an outstanding player he has turned into at Newcastle United. And credit to him, and I hope he starts for England in the Euros." From an Everton. I nearly dropped me coffee on the floor. I couldn't believe what I was reading. So there actually is some sensible Everton fans out there, guys.
I thought you were suggesting that the bloke that tweeted, he should play for England then.
Well,
credit to him, and he should play for England.
Yeah, well, Nigel says he saw the tweet as well. I was gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked. But listen, credit to Anthony Gordon. That you have to take your hat off to him. It's just outstanding. Alex, I mean, I know you're tired, Alex, but do you have to yawn so many times? It's as if we're boring you tonight, man.
Not at all. Well, I disagree with you. I'm going to go for a 10.
Well, that's fine. It's your
I'm going to go for a 10 for it. His off the ball movement, his pressing, his relentlessness. He tried 4 shots. He got an assist. He was taking set pieces, and they were very good, may I add. Good set. He's a good set piece taker. They were excellent. His direct free kick was creative. They've worked on that in training, clearly.
Yeah.
The whipped in crosses were excellent as well, perfectly weighted. And he won another penalty for his team that wasn't converted, but fine, fair enough. He was just, an absolute 10 for me. I know he could do more in terms of maybe he could have got a goal, but there was so much that he did beyond that, absolute 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Right. Billy, have you voted on Gordon? I think you have.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the 2 strikers now, of course. We'll start off with Alexander Isak. Alex.
Tough one to mark because it was a strange game for him. I think it definitely helped letting Wilson do the rough and tumble so he could be a bit more, running around and doing Isak things because he's more of a runner, less of a fighter. So it definitely helped him.
I'm a running out of fighter.
I knew Billy would say so. As soon as you said that,
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Bloody reason,
but
exactly.
It worked. It does work. It really works. And after all of this intricate system changes, 4-3-3, dropping into 5 in midfield in a block, and then trying 5 at the back with counter pressing and all of this different things. And who'd have thought we'd have just gone for a 4-4-2 and thrown the kitchen sink at them, and it just worked a treat. It just, you got little and large, but in the wrong way round. You've got the smaller one doing all the physical stuff, and the taller guy for some reason can't do the physical stuff, is running around. But it worked. And the fact that Murphy and Gordon can kind of make it a 3-pronged attack, just depending on the game state and the situation and who's in the right place at the right time, it was absolutely perfect for it. And I need to give him a rating, really, don't I? I mean, he scored a goal. Yeah. He was really good in kind of build up, but he missed the pen. It was a poor penalty, to be fair.
It was.
It was a little bit soft. It wasn't in the corner. I'm going to go for a 7. And I think that's a bit harsh, but
that's fine.
Yeah, I'll go for 7.
Robbie Lee, thank you very much for your super chat. There isn't a comment there, but there's a nice little emoji with the hearts in their eyes. So thank you very much, Robbie. I actually agree with you, Alex. I'm going to give Isak a 7. Now, the reason I'm giving him a 7 is because I thought he was quite anonymous in the first half. Billy, I think you mentioned this a few times in commentary that we just expected a little more from him. With having Wilson there, it would a lot more creativity maybe come from Isak. I think he had a much better second half, by the way, but he obviously did miss the penalty. He did score a goal, and I absolutely love the guy. And I think if he can get 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s for the every single game we watch, then I'm sorry, it's like he's just going to be a god. He sometimes. you look at him and think, should have done better there, should have done better there. And then the next minute you'll get the ball and do something outrageous. I mean, some people are saying Isak 7 is harsh, but there is some 7s coming in the chat as well with 8s and 9s.
Like it is harsh, but we don't do half ratings at the moment, do we? I think 8. I also think 8 is a little bit too much to give him. But 7, I agree, is a little bit harsh. This is definitely one of those where a 7.5 just feels right.
It's a difficult one because he was, like I say, he was very quiet for me in the first half, and I would have liked him to get on the ball more and with the dribbling and stuff like that. I thought he combined very well for was it the 4th goal we scored yesterday with Wilson? I can't remember. It was one of them he combined with Wilson, but I just really, really love him, and I think a 7. Maybe harsh, 0.5 probably if we were doing 0.5s. But let's be honest.
Well, it's still 0 out of 3 aerial duels, and I'm sorry, but for somebody that's 6'3", 6'4",
he isn't. He's not good in the air.
But I don't care if you're 6'3", 6'4". Why? You should be winning. He won 0 headers that game. 0. What? Why?
But look, he's brilliant. End of story, Billy.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give him an 8. Just
okay.
Rodgers, I mean, I didn't think he was great yesterday, I'll be perfectly honest, but he's got his goal, and that's what he wanted strikers to do. And for the first time ever, we saw him under pressure yesterday before they took that penalty. He didn't look right at all. The rain was blowing in his face. He was really, really looked nervous. And
he did actually, a good point, Billy. He did look nervous, didn't he? And we said that in commentary just before he took the penalty that the rain was driving in his face. He just didn't look settled, did he?
Strange.
To be fair, I was surprised that Wilson didn't take it. Are you guys?
No, I wasn't surprised because
he's back after the golden boot, isn't he? Or was?
Yeah, but I wasn't surprised. Yeah. I wasn't surprised in the way because Isak had scored. I think he scored his last 5 penalties, so I don't think they were too keen on changing that. I think if we get a penalty against Brighton, I think Wilson will take it if he's on the pitch.
Yeah. I just thought that if they were both on the pitch, it defaulted to Wilson, but obviously not.
Well, if he hadn't scored his goal yesterday, I'd probably give him a 6. I didn't think he was that good. But the fact he scored a goal, that's his 20th goal of the season. First place.
He's still.
I'll give him an 8.
But listen, he's still really young, and people forget that with Isak. He's still quite young, and he will get better and better the more he's in the Premier League. He'll get more physical. He'll get more headers. And obviously he's still got parts of his game that he needs to work on. What excites me is, and we've said this before, is Isak is not yet the finished article. There is a lot more to come from Isak, and if you're not excited by that, then you're crazy. Because we've got a lot more to see from him. And Arsenal fans. Anyway, let's move on to Callum Wilson, shall we? I'm giving Wilson a 9. I thought he was superb yesterday. His physicality was back. His hold-up play was a lot better yesterday. I don't really want to talk about Anthony Taylor because he doesn't deserve to be spoken about because he was absolute dog rot yesterday. But I must reiterate, and I said this yesterday on my match reaction on YouTube, that, I think he was poor for both sides. I think Burnley should have had some free kicks in certain situations, and so should we. And he just didn't blow the whistle. I think it was ridiculous. But Wilson, certainly first half, he was manhandled about 4 or 5 times, and not once did Taylor blow his whistle. It was ridiculous. No. I'd love seeing that. Is the Callum Wilson I love watching. I really do. I love the way he roughs up the defenders. He's so dynamic in front of goal, and I just hope he stays fit. Now that's all I want. Stay fit, Callum, and we'll see what happens. But 9 for me, Alex.
Tricky because
it's like the krypton factor for Alex, isn't it, doing score predictions? I mean, it really rattles his
really
brain.
Difficult. I don't like it. We need to rate people out of 100. So
it's not like you're going to get slapped on the arse with a cane, Alex, if you don't, just
there's no point in doing anything if you're not going to try and do it well. It's the same with football. There's no point in playing if you're not trying to win, right? So I want to do him justice. I think
Absolutely.
A 10 might be a little bit of a stretch. I'm going to go with a 9. I don't think the duels reflect what he did because I think one went down as a lost duel where he chased it. Well, he never gave up for it, and that was the one that Murphy picked up and dragged back to. Was it to Longstaff? I think that was Longstaff's goal. He just never gave up on anything physically, and he was very much a rough and tumble striker in that game. 5 accurate passes in the whole game. That was it, because it was very much, we'll use you when we need you. Just do your job, stay up there. And he had it was a hard day. It must be difficult being a striker in that kind of role, because you don't, he had 24 touches of the ball, which is not a lot in a game that we were so dominant in as well. To only touch the ball 24 times is not very much. Yeah, I'll go with a 9. He got his goal, but the rest of his game was exceptional as well. It is just a shame that his pace has kind of dropped off, because there were a couple of moments where he looked like it was a foot race and he could have been in. He's just not got that. He's not got the legs to do that anymore. But he's, 9, really good from him.
Billy?
Well, it was really harshly booked for a ridiculous. They thought it was a dive when he got straight back to his feet. Even now,
didn't even appeal for a penalty, did he? He just got up and tried to cross the ball.
Yeah, and he booked him for it. It's just absolutely outrageous decision from the absolutely awful referee. Physically fantastic. He was integral to everything we did. Really, it was a focal point for a lot of the attacks. I will give him a 10. I'll give him a 10 because he's had a hard season this year with injuries and just looking tired at times. But yesterday he was back to his best. Really, he looked sharp and he scored. To me, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Mr. Reactions is with us. Hi, lads. Was in RVI with my little bro, seen another lad watching this, and me too. Wish him well. And my brother David. Love you, lads. David, get well soon, buddy. And big shout out to Mr. Reactions as well. And whoever's obviously watching that in the hospital as well. Hello to everybody. And get well soon, folks.
And by the way, about Callum Wilson, can I just say that he kind of dominated Estev and O'Shea, but when the sub came on, he gave him an ectal examination as well, didn't he?
He did. But obviously, yesterday was also an advert to stay off the narcotics, guys, because as you saw, Steve wasn't feeling too well and had to be taken off due to his eyesight going a bit blurry. So that is a message to everybody. Stay off the narcotics. Robbie Lee, thank you for your super chat. Paul, Billy and Alex, spreading love to you all and your fantastic community. Thank you for the great content. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Robbie. Much appreciated. Right, substitutes now. Who came on when? Obviously,
Anderson and Barnes for Murphy and Wilson, 69th minute.
Right, so we'll mark them both. Billy, Anderson and Barnes.
Another one that got really harsh to book, wasn't he? But Anderson, ridiculous.
That was incredible.
Absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
This bloke's a FIFA official.
The Lewis Hall stamp on his ankle happened a few minutes after that as well, which was funny.
I think that was an accident, by the way. I'm not saying the Burnley player stamped on his. If you look at the Burnley player, he wasn't even looking at Lewis Hall. He was trying to run away. I will give him the benefit.
Yeah, but if somebody's underneath you, you don't pedal your feet as fast as you can.
Well, maybe not, but I just thought he didn't see Lewis Hall's foot there. He tried to run. I don't think there was any intention.
I'm not buying that. If somebody's under you, you look down to try not to stamp on them.
Well,
I think that's courtesy.
I'll agree to disagree, but that's just my opinion.
We can't all be Roy Keane.
No.
Anyway, I'll give them both 7.
Okay.
Alex kind of alluded in the Patreon that it's the kind of perfect game for Barnes, isn't it? Come on when you 3 up and etc. And he was okay, and so was Anderson. Yeah, I thought they were both.
I'm going with Anderson as 7, Barnes as 6. I would have just like to see a little bit more from Barnes in that situation where we're on top and we're playing well and didn't quite. But listen, Barnes is another one for me that is going to come really good after he's worked with Eddie for a good while. I think he's been injured a lot this season, obviously. I think we'll see the best of Barnes still. I think he's a really good player. Alex?
I think they both deserve 7s.
Okay.
Barnes did a little flick back to Richie that he should have scored. So Barnes should have had an assist. Matt Ritchie decided to hit it with his right foot. It was
Matt Ritchie, Alex. I don't think Ritchie had a great time yesterday.
If Matt Ritchie had done the back pass for that shot, he'd have scored.
I don't know why he didn't curl it into the far corner with his left foot. I don't know why he hit it with his, as Alex says, I don't know why he hit that with his right. It was weird.
No, I think 7s for both, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning. Let's put a pin in this. It's another easy game for Barnes in an easy situation. Fine. Was it the West Ham game he came on and scored an important goal? Fine. He's done it. He's done it in that game. So, however, recently it's been very, we don't need fair weather players. We either need him to harden up or he's just not going to get picked in these games. I mean, a lot of people had Barnes in their starting 11s in the predictions. And we all kind of went, well, I think he might pick Murphy. And he did. He picked Murphy. And because he's more. I think he can handle it. He can handle the away matches. He can handle a bit of physicality and a bit of nonsense. He doesn't mind it. He'll get stuck in and he'll do his job. I'm not 100% convinced that Barnes has got that, because he struggled at Leicester as well. Let's not forget they had a torrid season when they went down.
Yep. What's your ratings? So both 7, yeah.
Both 7s, yeah.
Okay. Who were the other subs that came on?
Joe
Linton and Miggy on the 77th minute. So Longstaff and Isak went off.
I mean, Joe Linton, he put a few good, strong tackles in, which it was just great to see.
More than
Miggy,
a few.
Yeah, he put loads in. But,
4.
Yeah. I'm gonna give them both 7s. They weren't on the pitch for that long to really. But it's what it is. Listen, I'm gonna give maybe an extra point to them both because it was great to see them back. Miggy, as Billy stated yesterday, did a lot of running around up front. I don't actually quite know where Miggy knew he was playing, because he was centre forward, he was right wing, he was left back, he was all over the pitch. But that's what we expect with Miggy. So I'm going both 8. Alex.
Miggy 6.
Oh, fuck off. No, I'm not having that. When I said both 7s, you give me the look of death. And I thought, I've got that wrong. I need to improve it just slightly. And then you go and give him a sodden 6.
I'm not. What I say isn't gospel. Rate your own scores.
I think Alex gave the eyes for the Joe Linton bit. Not
it was the Joe Linton bit. So Joe, Billy knows why, because we went over his statistics in the Patreon. So Joe Linton hit 22 accurate passes yesterday. Sean Longstaff only hit 23. And Joe Linton only played like 15 minutes. So fine, he was doing a lot of the Ole passing at the end. So inflated a little bit. But he came on, he was immaculate. 22 out of 23 passes. And he put 4 tackles in.
Uh-huh.
He went in and he decided to try and he wanted his money's worth. He wanted 90 minutes out of 15, and he put himself about, and I'm going to give Joe an 8. He was brilliant.
Okay. Billy?
Yeah, I'll give Joe an 8 for the same reasons. And I'll give Miggy a 6 for the same reasons.
Okay. We are not rating Matt Ritchie.
Oh, we have to.
No!
We have to, because he messed up.
A missing goal.
Well,
he did.
All right. -5. That's my... right. Billy?
It won't be that harsh. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, dreadful. Absolutely. Should have scored and then gave them the corner for the goal with an absolute ridiculous back pass. However, I watched that match last night. I think Dúbravka could have made more of an effort to get to it.
I knew you were going to
bring that far from it. Slide and kick it out for a throw or something.
Well, yeah, Nick Pope would have been in a very different position to get that pass, I think, but it was still pretty dreadful. Alex?
Well, for Matt Ritchie?
No, Pope John Paul III. Who do you think?
Well, they were about as lively as each other, so a 1. He gets a 1 for turning up. Okay, he won a couple of ground jewels, but everything else was shocking. So a bad day at the office. And I feel let down because I gave a big speech a few days ago about Paul Dummett and Matt Ritchie being the cheerleaders, but at least Matt Ritchie hasn't cost us a goal like Dummett has, and he's now gone and done that. So they're both cheerleaders who now are basically just costing us goals.
Yeah, but Dummett's error, as we spoke about before the show, has cost us points. That one didn't.
No, this is true. But the whole point in those two is they're 2 people in their 30s with buckets of experience in the game, in the Premier League, and for the club, who are meant to come on for 20 minutes and not make mistakes. And they've both come on and made mistakes and cost us games and points. It's just that's the whole point. We extended their contracts so that they could just not mess up. And gone, I'm afraid. Okay. There's no point. If they're going to make mistakes, then we don't need them.
Eddie Howe, I think we're all going to give 10s, aren't we, for what he did yesterday? I think he got everything spot on yesterday. I don't think there's any denying that. So a 10 all round for Sir Edward Howe. Right, before we leave you, we'll do the viewers' man of the match. So we'll see how this has worked out. Guys, would you like to have it? It was Murphy, Hall, Longstaff, or Dan Burn. Who do you think's given who do you think it is?
Murphy.
Alex?
I want it to be Lewis Hall because I think he was just technically the best player on the pitch.
It's not.
Okay,
Lewis
maybe
Hall.
Bruno, but
Jacob Murphy has won it with 46% of the votes. Lewis Hall was second with 37% of the votes. Dan Burn with 9% and Sean with 8%. So clearly it was a sort of march between Murphy and Hall. But in the end, Murphy is the viewers' man of the match. So well done to Jacob Murphy. I've seen an interview with his brother, actually, who obviously plays for Oxford. It's incredible. I could have sworn that was Jacob Murphy doing that interview.
They do look very similar.
They are incredibly alike. It is unbelievable.
Can I just mention something before we kind of disappear off rating the game? I was very disappointed by the match of the day analysis of this game.
Well,
there was no real reference to the impact of the fullbacks, and it was Ian Wright, and obviously Ian Wright knows far more about football than any of us watching or talking right now. However, he focused on the strikers. I mean, he was a striker, but there was far more to it. It was lazy punditry from, I think, everybody in the media. Well, most people in the media went, "Oh, Sean Longstaff scored and had a good game. The Newcastle fans have been really harsh on him. Maybe they shouldn't have been. Naughty. And the strikers were really good." It was like robot. It was just so predictable. It is almost as if they hadn't actually watched the game. They just like read who'd scored.
I just think now Alex punditry on TV is absolutely shocking now. I really do.
It was lazy. It was so lazy. They'd not kind of mentioned the reference, how we've changed formation, the impact of the fullbacks, Lewis Hall coming out after sort of 3 months in the dark and learning. There was so much going on tactically that had shifted that was interesting and different. And they just went, yeah, the two strikers, 4-4-2. And I guess Sean, they shouldn't be harsh to Sean. That was it. That was basically the entire analysis from most media outlets yesterday. And I thought it was really lazy.
By the way, there's a lot of people noticed in the chat that once again, the YouTube poll didn't come to 100%. That is just the norm. Unfortunately, I think the Americans think it's 101 or whatever it was tonight. I have no idea. But the bottom line is Jacob Murphy won the man of the match. So there you go. But that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your super chats and memberships. Welcome again to all our new subscribers as well. And a big thank you to the mods and to Alex and, of course, Billy. Alex, if we don't see you again, enjoy your holiday, my man. Take it easy and enjoy your reading by the pool.
Or does anybody want to see what books I chose, by the way?
Oh, not really, Alex. I mean,
it's not that boring. They're football books, guys.
Clearly,
come on. I got Inverting the Pyramid,
yes,
which looks very interesting.
That's a see-through book, everybody.
Yes, because it's got green on it. And the numbers game as well.
Who's that boy? Carol Vorderman.
By many people, apparently. Carol Vorderman.
With the intro from Rachel Riley. Yeah, so well, Alex is gonna have a wonderful holiday, lying there reading books. But anyway, me and Billy will take you forward this week as Sam is, I believe, off to Canada tomorrow. So she's gonna have a wonderful time over there. But you still got me and the Billy Bob with us for this week as well. So we'll have shows. We'll have obviously previews. TTR Friday will still go on. The watch along, of course, on Saturday. Everything is still going ahead, guys. And of course, keep your eye open for the uploads of the new shows with me during the week as well. But thank you very much for watching. Have a great bank holiday Monday, guys. And we will see you very soon. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the likes on your way out. It really, really does help us. It honestly does. But in the meantime, have a great bank holiday. See you soon. Good night.
Away the lads and lasses. Mayday, mayday.
Come back and check out some breathing.